All right, Zeina Khodr joins me now live from Beirut. What more can you tell us, Zeina?
Well, Hezbollah is denying any responsibility for this rocket strike that targeted a soccer field where children were playing. Hezbollah did claim responsibility for a number of attacks in the Syrian-occupied Golan Heights, but they said they were targeting military barracks. The very fact that Hezbollah denies such a serious incident like this one, in fact, this is the most serious incident since the confrontations between the Israeli military and Hezbollah began nearly 10 months ago. So many civilian casualties, a mass casualty event in a single strike. Now, Hezbollah's message is that they are not interested, if you like, in changing the unwritten rules of engagement that have been in place for months now. And those unwritten rules of engagement is that both sides are focusing their attacks on military targets, this war of attrition. The biggest question now is how will Israel respond? Civilians have been killed. Yes, the unwritten rules of engagement, both sides focusing their attacks on military targets, but never so many civilians killed in a single incident. So will Israel, what kind of response will it be? Will this lead to even further escalation? So no doubt, many say that this incident in itself could be a tipping point in the ongoing conflict between these longtime enemies.
And give us a status update, if you will, Zeina. Has there been an uptick in violence in recent weeks?
Well, this conflict, really what we've been seeing is sporadic escalation, 2 to 3 days of escalating tensions along that border, sometimes strikes deeper inside both sides of the border. But as of late, Israel has been talking about widening this conflict if Hezbollah does not pull back from the border. Hezbollah, a few days ago, one of its officials, and we have to remember that Hezbollah is part of the Iranian-led so-called axis of resistance, and there are so many support fronts for Gaza. This is what they call, for example, the front in Lebanon, a support front for Gaza. Hezbollah officials said to the Israelis, expect an escalation on all these fronts, not just from Lebanon, from Iraq, from Yemen, as long as Israel continues to stall negotiations to bring about an end to the Gaza war. And that is why an end to the Gaza war, a ceasefire deal, is so important to calm tensions along this border and across the region as a whole. But as long as these talks stall, then we can, see most likely further escalation. So in Lebanon, I can tell you, people are bracing themselves for what kind of a response will there be from the Israeli military? Will they target a Hezbollah position deep inside the country, an area that has not been targeted before, or will they hit at civilians? Israel's response to what happened in Majdal Shams, it will be telling on where this conflict, the trajectory of this conflict. But I also have to mention that sources in Lebanon are saying that they believe that this rocket could be part of an interceptor missile, because whenever Hezbollah launches rockets from southern Lebanon into northern Israel or into the occupied Golan Heights, Israel launches interceptor missiles. So could this be an interceptor missile? But if you read what's been written and reported in the Israeli media, they are saying that the rocket came from southern Lebanon. So the coming hours really will tell us the trajectory of this ongoing conflict.
Zeina Khodr reporting on those breaking developments. Zeina, thank you for now. And let's get you more on these breaking developments with our correspondent Hamda. Salhut. She is here with me in the studio. What has been the first reaction from Israel?
Well, we got a statement from the Israeli military that says the Israeli Army Chief of Staff, Herzi Halevi, is now meeting with Israel's Defense Minister, Yoav Gallant, and several other top officials in the Army's Northern Command, conducting what they're calling a security and situational assessment about what has just happened. Israeli media and medics are saying 30 casualties total, but some are saying that there are several people who are dead, among them children, at least 9 of them, according to Israel's Channel 12. And that same Israeli media outlet conducted an interview just moments ago with the Israeli Foreign Minister, Israel Katz, who said that, quote, Hezbollah has crossed all red lines. It's important to note Hezbollah has still denied responsibility for this, but the continuation of the cross-border fire has escalated in recent weeks and months. And in fact, nearly a month ago, when Hezbollah had released this drone footage of northern Israel, the Israelis said that they are no longer on the defensive, but they were rather on the offensive with these new battle and attack plans. But Israel Katz, the country's foreign minister, is also saying that he spoke with the Israeli prime minister. He declined to give more information about what's next for Israel, but he said this is leading to, quote, an all-out war.
Exactly. To that point that you just ended on, I want to pick up on that because Netanyahu, of course, in the past has said that Israel is prepared for a very strong action and take the war basically to Lebanon. A very precarious situation at the moment.
That's right. And we've heard from Israeli officials throughout the entirety of this war since that cross-border fire started on October the 8th, saying that they're not afraid to turn Beirut into another Gaza. They're not afraid to go into another war, that they're prepared for it, claiming that they'll have full U.S. and European backing to do so. The Israelis have said that they have been operating with, quote, restraint when it comes to southern Lebanon. But the reality is that the Israeli army is overstretched. You have the war in Gaza that is entering its 10th, 11th month. That's still ongoing. And the situation in the north, you have tens of thousands of people who've been evacuated from those areas, people who are furious at the government. But the Israelis have said that they are going to deal with it, but they still haven't. So this situation that we're finding ourselves in now could surely be the turning point that could lead to this all-out war that both sides have now said that they are prepared for. But again, important to note that at this point in time, Hezbollah has denied responsibility for this attack.
And just remind our viewers in terms of, there has been this ongoing tit for tat between the two sides.
Since the war on Gaza started, Hezbollah became engaged in cross-border fire with the Israelis on October the 8th, one day after the war started. And in recent months and weeks, we have seen that escalate quite a bit. There have been some big attacks by Hezbollah. But again, the Israeli army has pounded areas of southern Lebanon, even conducting a targeted assassination in Beirut, which they still never claimed, for a senior Hamas official. So Israel is operating in southern Lebanon via the Air Force, of course, not boots on the ground. But there are several within Netanyahu's government who have been calling for more action, saying that what's going on in Israel's north can no longer be dealt with. But again, the Israelis have said that they are prepared for this full-out war. And nearly a month ago, when they said they have drawn up these new battle and attack plans to go on the offensive, it was important to note then that that wasn't a change within Israel's policy, because that's what they were doing. They were conducting targeted assassinations and strikes on senior Hezbollah members. They were operating however they saw fit, but still what they called restraint. So again, this could be the situation that changes all of that into an all-out war.
All right, Hamda, Salhut, thank you so much for your analysis. Greatly appreciated. Thank you.